Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rant, Panda podcast. This is episode number 42, and today I have, coming back, is Christa Lester, my sister-in-law, otherwise known as Sissy Panda, and my beautiful wife, Grace Green. They've come together. And really, this was supposed to be a podcast with just Christa, and Grace didn't want to feel left out, so she chimed in and jumped in. And we really went all over the place. We started talking about tattoos, and then we went from tattoos to the symbol of yin yang, to being the friendship together that they have, to Christa and her sobriety. We talk about poetry and art. And we end it with some Star Trek, and so we just have a fun time having a conversation, and I hope you all enjoy it, and I will catch you all. We are now on record. So
we're now on record.
Hey. I'm going to do all the introductions and everything on my intro and outro, so we can just talk like we're normal.
So should we talk about what we were talking about?
Sure.
What
Absolutely.
were we talking about?
Tattoos.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
What about them?
So, you don't even want tattoos, Grace.
Well, I think that I would like to eventually.
You want to get a tattoo?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I was thinking about, on the side of my arm, just, you can't see it, on a podcast, obviously, but, on the side of my arm, I was thinking about getting, music notes.
What?
I haven't decided the song yet.
Don't Stop Believing?
No. I was thinking it might just be, damn it, now I forgot it.
Just random music notes?
I like the song Peace, Peace. Like that always
Peace, wonderful peace.
Yeah. That was always important to me when I was younger.
So right here where mine is? On the side of the inside of the wrist?
Like that.
Like that?
Yeah,
not inside the wrist,
side.
but on the side of the wrist.
But I want a bar of music.
That's actually not a bad place to get a tattoo. It's it kind of just really feels like here, give me your arm. It just kind of feels like this.
Ow.
But I'm
rethinking everything now.
Do you like needles?
Yeah, you met me? No.
It feels...
It's very likely that I will pass out, and then the rest of the tattoo will go very smoothly once I'm passed out.
They won't finish if you pass
I know.
out. No, it just... Really what it feels like, even especially right here, if it's something small like this, it felt like somebody was scratching you really hard with their fingernail, and it just burned a little.
Yeah.
This wasn't that bad. This one on the inside of my arm, under my elbow, this one, towards the top it hurt.
It's thinner skin.
But down here at the bottom it didn't hurt. Mm-hmm. This one on the back, same thing as the inside of my arm. It just felt like somebody was scratching and kind of burning me.
Yeah.
The ankle, however, I have to get that one touched up, and I probably never will, because it was so painful. I actually thought I was going to pass out. So, but I think that if for you especially, if you're going to get one, somewhere like this, or a shoulder where there's a lot of meat, would probably be your best bet.
Yeah.
And if you needed to take a break, you could. If you needed to schedule a second session to finish it, you could. Tattoo artists are super understanding of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I like the song Peace, Peace, just because, one, I used to always, sing it to myself when I was afraid, when I was younger. And then also now when I'm home alone at night and stuff, I sometimes sing it to myself too, because sometimes I get freaked out. And so, it's important. It's an important thing to me.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd say tattooing, it was probably the most annoying thing for me. Hurt for the first minute. Then it just got really, really annoying.
Like the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because it starts to heat up, but it literally does feel like you're getting burned a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that feeling is a little bit annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's done, it's over.
I know. It was just my arm shaking, and it was like hours. You know, we sat there for hours. My brother, he got his tribal the same night I got mine.
Uh-huh.
And that took from like 3:30 in the afternoon to like 8 at night. Because he got like almost his whole bicep area done in a tribal.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to fill it all in. So now they had to outline the whole thing after they put it all in there. Then you had to take a bigger, needle point and use it to fill in with all that black. And David went for the whole long haul, and it took hours to do it. And I think he charged David like $150 for that whole thing.
That is really cheap for that big of a
That guy didn't have. He was getting his license, and he was building a portfolio, and what he was doing were tattoo parties at the time.
Ah.
So he was trying to just take pictures and get things done, and he had just rented a space, and so he was building his business is what he was doing. And so he couldn't, and he was also friends of ours. So he did mine based on my own drawing, which was based on our ministry logo.
Yeah.
And I just took River Road Fellowship out of the thing and put something else on there and made it my own.
And so, like, I know that you have like a sequence list for just about everything. So
right.
I'm thinking, like, what's your next 3 tattoos in order from like 1 to 3?
Mine?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so on my right forearm, on the inside here, I want to get a Celtic cross just like David Johnson.
You want it to be identical, or do you want to do your own thing with it?
Similar. I don't think I can make it identical. It's really expensive to get it done identical. It's a lot of detail, I found out. The guy did it for him for free. See, this is the one thing that ticked me off about that tattoo, was because he and I had agreed we were going to do that together. Yay! We were going to get this one tattoo together. And then he went and got his flames on his left arm. He got a whole bicep sleeve of flames. And he informed our tattoo artist that we were moving. And so, because he wanted to say goodbye, he decided to give him a going away gift and told me to give him a tattoo for free, which ended up being the Celtic cross tattoo. Well,
you were like, I wanted that.
I did, and I didn't get it, and I was kind of sad. But yeah, that would be the first one. The second one would be the lyrics to a song that have been. The lyrics are, you don't always know where you stand till you know that you won't run away. That's, I really like that ever since 2008 when the song first came out. It's Slipknot's Sulfur.
Do you know where you want that?
Probably underneath this one here. I think I'm going to try and keep as many tattoos on my right arm as possible. So I'll probably put it underneath the logo one. So that's my second one. And the third one,
I feel like that one would be cool, like on your shoulder, like on your chest of your shoulder.
What, the script?
Uh-huh.
Of the song lyrics?
Yeah, I feel like that would be cool.
Right here or right here?
Like, yeah, just on like your right shoulder.
On the front.
Yeah, on like below your collar, or like below your collarbone.
Oh.
That would hurt.
But I feel like it would
There's
look
people
really
who do
cool.
that all the time. Oh man, I'm just wondering if I'm too much of a pussy for that.
I just feel like it would look really cool right there.
Probably. I don't want to like get my chest tatted, a whole lot. I don't want to be one of those guys that has like tattoos running all over his freaking body. I want tattoo. I like tattoos. Let's just put it that way. I like tattoos.
Are you gonna? Do you think that you like would want like leg tattoos, like a calf
Hell
tattoo?
no. Hell no. I don't want my legs tatted. Absolutely not. I want my arms. That's about it. I don't. Maybe my back a little bit, but pretty much my arms.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm not into those tattoos that run across the shoulder blades. I don't know what it is. I'm not into that.
I regret getting this one on my back because, I don't regret getting the actual tattoo, but I regret getting it on my back because I can never see it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's something special that you like, but you can't see it.
And I had my tattoo artist, he talked me into getting it on my shoulder, and I was thinking about getting it on, like, right across from my anchor, so, like, right here, it would have been a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he said, I would suggest getting it on your shoulder, and that's what I decided. And
So you have 4.
I have 4.
You have 4 tattoos.
Yep.
Grace has got none right now.
And I feel like for me, if I was to get a tattoo, it would have to be something really, really meaningful to me. But I know, like, from Christa, she's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, it's an artistic expression.
It really is.
And so I feel like, you know, if we were to get tattoos, like, we have different reasons. And you have, like, the let go, let God.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, more of a meaningful thing to you.
Yeah, I mean, they're all meaningful. Well, my ankle tattoo, not so much, but I conceptualized 3 of my 4 tattoos. This one, the hope and the anchor, I designed myself. The tattoo artist that I went to, she just made it look prettier, essentially. And this really needs to be touched up. I was just looking at it, noticing some of the ink. I'm losing some of the ink still, and it's really annoying. The Let Go, Let God, I picked out the font. It's just writing, so it's really not artistic. And then my back one, my tattoo artist here in Bellingham, he had a mandala with a yin yang in the middle, and he and I worked together and just kind of revised that to make it look how I wanted. And how it turned out was that it was a yin yang and it looked like it had sunflower petals around it. I had him do it in yellow, and that's what I wanted. So, and then my ankle, which is the moth with the skull and crossbones, the death's head moth, that was just a stupid decision made on a whim that cost me $20 and a lot of
Pain.
tears. Yeah, because it was a apprentice that worked for my tattoo artist, and she had about 15 or 20 tattoos in her portfolio, really small, simple designs, and I went with my friend to get one of hers, and I was looking at her little page. It was just one page of portfolio, and I just kind of made the harebrained decision to do it, and so I did, and it's whatever. It's gonna be with me for life because I'm never getting it covered up because it hurt like hell. It was so painful. So,
do you have another tattoo that you want right now?
Not right now, no. I probably will in the future. I wanna do something. There's like these watercolor tattoos.
Sure.
And I really want to get something like that, but I don't know of what. So, but if I ever think of another tattoo design or concept for myself, I'm going to try to incorporate that into it.
So you don't have even a concept right now?
Not right now.
You're happy with what you have?
No, I'm happy with what I have. But that said, I mean, when I got my first tattoo, I was like, this is my last one. I'm only going to get one. And then I decided I wanted my second one. And then I got my third and fourth pretty much consecutively. So I think I went in one day and got one, and the next day got the other one.
And, you know, who knows, it might just be something that you go through in your life, that you find something that means something to you, and you come up with a concept, and then you'll want it.
Honestly, like, my tattoos, they're reminders of, like, points in my life. They kind of tell a story, as well as being, you know, pieces of art that I at least had a hand in designing.
And then, you know, the moth is a reminder of your silly decision and pain.
Exactly. Yeah, so but I mean, I keep getting them, so they're not that bad, Grace. They're not like I survived the ankle. It hurt, but I survived it. And I think that if you like get it in a place that's not super painful, like a leg or a like
I don't think I would do leg tattoos. I'm not into those. Or foot tattoos. I'm not into foot tattoos.
But like somewhere meaty, you'll be fine. And if you start to feel kind of woozy, just drink some ice water. And make sure you eat before you do it. Like, eat a good big meal.
Okay.
Yeah. You should be okay. So,
anyway.
That's...
So we should schedule your tattoo appointment as soon as possible?
No.
No? No? Okay. So,
I don't know. I have the con not ever do it.
Some people go out throughout their whole lives without having a tattoo, and that's great. Or if you're grandma, you get one when you're like 70, and
That's true. My grandma got her first tattoo when she was in her 70s.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
for real. I think my uncle invited a tattoo artist over. Oh no, he got it for her birthday, didn't he?
I don't know what he got it for her for, but he
but
did pay for it.
My uncle bought her a tattoo,
a
and she is so proud of it. And she's actually since gotten at least one more.
She has?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. I think she got another
Ow.
one because Aaliyah was getting a tattoo, and our cousin Aaliyah was getting a tattoo, and he was like at the house, and my grandma decided to get one with her.
I don't think that he goes to the house. It was probably at a tattoo parlor.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Because that's really sketchy if they're going to a house.
Ours came to our house.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Took a shirt off and everything.
I don't know.
His apartment in Pennsylvania. We were broke as hell, and so was he, obviously. Came in there, athletic shorts and flip flops and a shirt, and he asked if he could take a shirt off and be in the middle of it, and everyone else in the apartment did, so it didn't really matter.
My first tattoo artist, Stacy, in Spokane, she, I remember when I went to her tattoo shop to get my first one, my anchor, she was wearing gray sweatpants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's like, it's not a super, like, professional thing.
No. I mean...
But I do kind of, I'm kind of leery of, like, house call tattoo artists. I don't know. It's just I guess it's just a me thing.
Right.
But some exceptional tattoo artists will go to people's houses and do it too.
I suppose. I don't know. It's just I prefer to go to a place like a
I'm sure it's just
shop. Yeah.
There's plenty of places around here. I got pretty much lady at Nature's Path. Her name is Shantae, a friend of mine on Facebook. She, her husband is he's a tattoo artist. Has done all of her tattoos, and basically I made an agreement that I would get my tattoos done by him, but it's expensive. It's expensive to get it done because he does a really good job. That's it. All of his pictures, his portfolio.
Does he have a shop?
Yep, Ferndale.
In Ferndale. Okay.
In Ferndale, near the pilot station.
Yeah.
There's a tattoo shop over there.
There are a lot of tattoo shops right downtown Bellingham.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't surprise me.
There are so many. I can't even believe it. I go to the Railroad Avenue tattoo place.
Okay.
And he did my shoulder one, and I honestly don't think I need to go to anyone else because he did a really good job. So.
Yeah, for me, I would probably want to get like a quote and know like how much it would cost an hour, how much it would cost per piece, like because I know they do. I know it depends on the piece. Like some pieces, it's gonna be in hours, and there's other pieces where they know they can get it done in a certain amount of time, and they can just go, it's gonna cost that much. You know, so whatever piece I want to get, I need to get a quote beforehand so that I can actually have cash in hand and tell them, here you go, here's your money, so that you can work on me.
Yeah. I feel like for what I got, I mean the sunflower, the yin yang, it's masterful. It's
right.
It's like you can tell that it's done by somebody who's really good at what they do, and it was only 120, and I feel like that was a really good deal for what I got. So, but it was also the most I'd ever spent on a tattoo.
I like, there's something about yin and yang, and I may be wrong, but it's what's really neat about that symbol, and I just learned this out. Like when I was a kid, all young people wanted to have the yin yang because it just looked cool. No one really had a good understanding of what does yin and yang mean, and I found out that one of the reasons why it has the yin and yang is because good and evil exist together. But not only that, but within yin and within yang, the good and the bad, there's also a little bit of bad and a little bit of good in all of it. And it just was like, oh my god, like I didn't even realize that's what that symbol can represent.
It's extremely profound.
Isn't it Chinese or
it's Taoist, which is I believe it's East Asian.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the good and the bad coexist. It's like the reason I got it is because I think about, like, my life and, like, all of the dark things that happened. They are still a part of me. They're still a part of who I am. They formed, they shaped me into the person that I am. I've seen things, I've done things, and that's always going to be with me. But that's not entirely who I am. Yeah. My life is good, too. And
well, here we go.
The light and the dark exist together.
I got a definition too for it, apparently.
But just real quick, I think it's cool too that you say that the dark stuff is like the past is always with you, but like within the past that there's still like that light spot, you know.
Yeah.
And that there
absolutely.
are good things in that, but even in you know, and if you look at, you know, the better part of it that you think of, you know, it's a bright future, but then also you know that, you know, go through good times and bad times all through life. It's not all just good times too.
Right.
Exactly.
Apparently, what it means is it's the symbol holds its roots in Taoism and Daoism, a Chinese religion and philosophy. The yin, the dark swirl, so yin is standing for dark swirl, is associated with shadows, femininity, and the through of a wave. The yang, the light swirl, represents brightness, passion, and growth. So I guess it must be a symbol of what all, you know, it can be a symbol of that as far as a collective, like what we were talking about, but it can also be a circle or represent what each person has to deal with in their life.
Exactly. And the sunflower that I put around it was intentional. I mean, I love sunflowers. They are my favorite flower. But there's a reason that they're my favorite flower. And it's because, first off, they're just a really happy flower. Like, you just look at us. You can't be sad when you look at a sunflower. You just can't.
No.
And
I would have to question people if they actually had a problem with a sunflower. Like, what kind of life are you living?
But they're always looking toward the sun. They're always looking for the sun. And I feel like it's just got a lot of meaning to me.
Right.
It's a symbol that's really meaningful to me. That throughout all of this the dark and light that happens, just keep looking towards the sun. It's got a lot of the tattoo has a lot of deep meaning to me and symbolism, like, that's personal to me. So that's pretty cool. So
one thing I can be really happy about is that I got both you sisters sitting next to each other. You know, in light of what you're talking about with the when it even brings up like the shadows or the, you know, the dark past of it, you know, going through what we went through at the church and everything, you know, and stuff. I haven't really like made a full on discussion about the church exactly in here, but I'm not going to necessarily go into all of it. But the fact is that you guys were separated pretty much.
You were.
Because
not necessarily by choice.
And I don't want to give people the wrong, like, we made the choices and we made decisions based on things that we believed, and then we found out were inaccurate and wrong, and we got, you know, Christa got her head on a swivel faster than the rest of some of us did. You know, some of us had things that we had contemplated or questioned, but just didn't really go across because we were afraid. But I'm put all that aside. I'm just really happy to see that the two of you are sitting next to each other. You guys talk, you guys converse, and because there was a period there where you didn't, and like her, I've had to do the same thing. Like, you know, you didn't go to our wedding,
right? And
my mom didn't go to our wedding. And when I sent out pictures to my mom, she was extremely sad. She was happy to see the two of us were married and that we were happy together, but she was really sad because she really wanted to be there,
right?
You know, and so I'm just happy to see the reconciliation. I can see it right in front of me that you guys are happy with each other and you guys love each other, and you guys were talking about your sister necklaces and rings and things, and I'm just really happy that you guys are together here in front, you know.
Yeah, me too. I think, through all of it, what I really learned is that, you know, to stand up for myself and what I actually want, and not to be pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the end, I think I've grown. I really don't even hardly recognize myself.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess when it comes to me, like, when I left the church, and I won't get into a lot of details, but I realized several months before I actually left what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't have anywhere to go. And then when I did, the decision was really easy. And I don't know, I just basically walked in and said, I'm out of here.
Right.
And I was willing to literally do whatever it took and to cut whatever ties I had to essentially save myself and my sanity. And it cost me my relationship with my sister for a little while. And it was sad. It was hard. And but I had a friend that continued to remind me that she was my sister and she loved me, and I just had to be patient, and one day she'd come around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. And as far as, like, your wedding, yeah, I was sad I couldn't be there. But at the same time, like, it would have been, because of the places we were at, we were at such different places in our lives, and it would have been super awkward if I was there, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And secondly, it was just a day.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened to be the day that you guys decided to make the date that you started to legally file taxes together.
Big
Big deal.
Real.
I mean,
and we decided on it so fast because of so many different factors too, that we literally got engaged and married in, was it 32 days?
It was a month.
yeah, I mean, if I was invited, I would have been there. But I mean, I held no grudges, and
And I'm thankful for that, because here's something I told my mom, because my mom was struggling with something a while ago, and I told her that flat out, like, if I can get this podcast to make some money, and I can get a good enough job or whatever, that I would help and fund her to move out here to be a part of our kids' lives.
I would love that too.
And that's one thing I see for, like, if we have kids or you have kids that, even though we weren't there for that one day or whatever, you're going to be a part of our lives for a long time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think, I'm so happy that when we have kids, that we live close to family, because I really think that that's important for children to have that support system around them. That they have all these people that are in their life that love them, that support them, and are their biggest cheerleaders. And I would like to have, hopefully my parents stay here for a long time. And, if your mom ever comes this way, that would be really awesome, too, I like having all my family close to me.
Yeah. It's nice. I lived 6 hours away for 3 years, and it's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
I missed my family so much.
And we grew up pretty tight, the four of us.
And I mean, I live with my parents now, but even just, I'll eventually move out.
Yeah.
But even just being in the same city and being close by, like, that's the kind of life I want to have. I don't want to be scattered all over the country.
Even, you and I don't even see each other even, once a week sometimes, but we see each other even if it's every other week or every week and a half or something. We see each other.
Just to have the option.
Exactly, and that we know that any day of the week, like, if you're just like, oh my God, I am having the worst night of my life, can I please come over? And I can say yes, and you could be like, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of life I want. I want to be able to have a close-knit family, like, we were growing up, and I feel like we have that, really.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Me too. And another thing is, like, you and I sat down shortly after I moved here, and we hashed out all of the stuff.
We pretty much gutted out everything for the last, whatever it was, 2 years.
You asked me, you just said, please just tell me whatever I did that hurt you.
And I wasn't wanting to apologize specifically. I didn't want to do that if I ever hurt you, I apologize.
yeah, so she asked me specifically what she did, and I told her specifically what she did. And
it's almost like a politician's response, you know.
And
if I did anything to hurt you, please just forgive me. It's like,
it was hard for me because, like, I was raised to not hold grudges and not hold resentments.
Mm-hmm.
But
just
like
let everything go.
Like the fact of the matter is that she did things that hurt me, and so I told her exactly what she did that hurt me, and that wasn't easy for her or me.
Mm-hmm.
But we did it, and she apologized, and I forgave her, and
it was confusing, you know, not at the time we had this conversation, but in the time beforehand, is that in that time period, is that I felt like you were the one hurting me.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just the messed up situation.
It was a messed up teaching that we had that it's...
And I felt like I was being the one that was hurt, and so within that, I ended up being hurtful in trying to uphold my religion.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think I apologized, too.
I think you did.
But we worked it out, and we forgave each other, and we basically said, this is the last time we're ever going to talk about any of this stuff.
Right.
And we're not going to hold it against each other anymore.
We're never going to, this is never going to be brought up.
Like, if we have a fight, that's off-limits territory.
That is off-limits, and so, like, that, and we haven't. Like, we've just moved forward, and it's been great. And
we don't,
sisters again.
We don't have fights.
We haven't fought in
long
years.
time.
So what happens when you get older. David and I don't know, you know, when we reach a certain age, we stop fighting.
I mean, you live your life and I live mine, really.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have anything to fight about.
No, and you don't, like...
I mean, I think you're happy as long as I'm happy, and I'm happy as long as you're happy.
Pretty much.
If you're happy, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. And even if you're not happy, I'll probably just tell you, if you're not happy, you should probably do something that makes you happy.
That's what you have told me, is to fight for the things that make me happy, and that's what I do, so...
Anyways,
I got a question for Christa.
Okay.
And I can edit this out if you don't want it, but do you mind talking about AA and sobriety?
I will talk about my sobriety.
Okay.
AA is kind of an off-limits topic for media.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. But, yeah, we keep it pretty quiet.
Oh, well, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I can edit all that out anyway. I was just mainly thinking of, I just wanted to see if you were willing to talk about the whole sobriety thing.
Yeah, I'm willing to talk about sobriety.
Just for... It's all okay, Grace. Just
Grace
eat.
is
I can
chewing.
edit everything, okay? It's so funny.
We're super chill here.
I have got availability to edit. Katie Krieger, I just gotta say this. Shout out to her. I loved her interview. I loved talking to her about the Reformation. I should have her on again. But she and I were like, we were so awkward about this whole conversation with each other. And by the time it was all done, we had done 3 takes. So I had 3 sections on the bar, on the audio file. And by the time I got done with it, she was like, I don't even know if we have anything good on here. And I'm like, I'm sure I'll be able to figure something out. And so I listened to the whole thing, cut it down, edited it out, and I took like an hour and a half, brought it down to 45 minutes. Put it out there, and she was very happy to hear that there was actually stuff that was able to be, like, scavenged from the conversation.
Salvaged.
And that was what editing does. That's how you can edit. And you just take out things that don't need to be there or are just oddball, you know.
So I can finish my granola bar is what you're saying?
Yeah.
If I chew it in between your words.
It's all good, honey. It's all good. Here's what I want to do. All right, so before we took a quick break, I was asking Christa specifically about sobriety, because I'll just be honest, at one point Grace told me that you were going to be sober, and I didn't even know you had a problem in that category.
I don't think a lot of people did, because
I just didn't see you around doing stuff like that. So,
yeah,
you know.
it was something that, like, I think probably my Spokane friends knew more about than my Bellingham friends. Because once I moved out here, like, most of my usage was, like, done in private, yeah. And so, I wasn't, like, going out and getting wasted. I was staying in and getting wasted. And basically what I was using alcohol for, I mean, alcohol is, I'm just going to say this, alcohol is not evil, okay? It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. But the way that I used it wasn't good. I was using it instead of dealing with my problems or dealing with hard situations, I would just shove them down and numb them with alcohol. And so then I just became really miserable and felt like life was consistently kicking my ass, and I didn't know what to do about it. And it was definitely a higher power God thing that led me to the realization that I had a drinking problem. And
it was just alcohol, right?
It was alcohol, just alcohol, yeah. And I reached out to someone I barely knew that I knew could help me get the help that I needed, and he did. And I honestly don't know where he is today. He kind of dropped off the face of the earth shortly after I got sober in September. So hopefully he's doing well, and I'll always be thankful for him. But yeah, basically what I did was I quit drinking September 11th, 2016. So I am almost...
You're working on a year.
Yeah, I'm like 8.5 months sober now. And it's good. Like, I just choose to surround myself with people who support that and avoid the temptation of drinking if I can. And it's been definitely life changing. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to handle myself in a more mature way. I've learned how to deal with my shit and not just ignore it. Learned how to handle pain, stress, all that stuff, and understand that I don't need something from outside to calm me down. It can come from within myself. It's been hard, but it's been really good, and I'm really thankful. So, I'm not saying that I feel like when I talk about sobriety, a lot of times when people talk about drinking around me, like they think that like I will judge them or think that it's wrong. And I don't. There are plenty of people who can have a beer or have a glass of wine or go out to a bar and have a perfectly good time, and it's just, they're fine. I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it takes a, it isn't necessarily, it's not, and I just want to say this too, it's not weak as well to admit that you can't handle that.
Not at all. It was probably one of the strongest things I ever did.
Yeah. Like, it's both sides are, that's the funny part. Both sides like can get a rap for, like, the ones who have to go through a process of becoming sober or have to admit that they can't, drink alcohol because it takes them to a bad spot. That's not weakness, that's strength, because that's saying, listen, this is wrong, I can't handle it, and so I need to stop it. The other side is, what you're saying is, sometimes it can actually get pushed to the point where it becomes a rule where anyone who's around you, all of a sudden it's like, the people that can handle it are, you shouldn't be doing that kind of thing, and, both are actually just fine,
Absolutely, and I don't have a problem, even if people, like, I try to avoid going to, like, parties. Well, first off, I'm not a very social person.
Right.
But,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Myself and with you.
Yeah, so I avoid parties anyways. But, I avoid going to social gatherings where there is going to be a lot of alcohol consumption. But if I'm sitting with someone one-on-one and they want to have a beer, that's fine. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's not like I'm just going to sit there and, like, go all, like, vampiric over the smell of alcohol. That's what they choose to do, and I will have my water or my tea or nothing.
And if you don't mind my asking, you said that it's, obviously it's a hard journey, especially your first year, I know is the hardest a lot of times. What, if you don't mind my asking, don't answer if it's, like, too personal, but, like, what has been the hardest part of sobriety?
Well, I think that answer has probably changed throughout the period of getting sober. Like, at first, sobriety itself was just hard. Like, the first few weeks, my body hurt all the time.
Really?
I was so tired.
I remember you, like, shaking and having all sorts of symptoms.
Yeah.
So your body had become reliant on it.
Oh, yeah. I was drinking every day. I would, like, take my vitamins in the morning with beer. Like, I would take a swig of beer with my vitamins. Yeah. And, like, I wasn't drunk. I could still drive. Like, my blood alcohol level would have been, like, barely even noticeable. It was literally just, like, a swig of beer to swallow my pills. But, and it wasn't, like, prescriptions. It was just vitamins. And then every night, same thing. I would have, like, it was mostly beer and wine that I would drink, but I did have whiskey sometimes. So my body was very reliant on it. So when I stopped, it hurt. My body literally hurt, and my brain went all haywire, and I was an absolute disaster for a while. So, I mean, that was definitely hard. I think that the consistently the hardest part about sobriety, even still, is when I get into a hard situation or a painful situation, facing it head on and not wanting to run away and hide and drown it with booze and hope it's gone in the morning. I think that's probably the thing that's been the hardest consistently. But I go through phases because my body really is still healing in a lot of ways. I go through phases where, like, I'm fine, and then I go through phases where I'm not. So,
and what is the thing for you that and I'm sure that you're still growing in it, that is, when you're in a hard situation, what is the thing that helps you? Or multiple things, or whatever it is.
Difficult situations, like, say a situation makes me angry. I used to, like, drink a glass of wine or a whole bottle to just calm myself down.
Like depression or whatever,
Yeah. The anger is a big one for me because I used to have a really short temper. Things would make me really angry really, really fast, and I would fly off the handle and do crazy things like throw things or storm out the door or, yelling, screaming like a child. A big thing that's helped me with, like, anger is to take a step back and get really analytical about the situation, and maybe even take a couple of days.
So, like, allow yourself time before you react.
Allow myself time before I react. And a lot of times I will either determine that the situation really wasn't that bad to begin with, or I will be able to formulate my thoughts in such a way where I can actually handle it like an adult. And so, like, that's a big one for me. Depression, anxiety, those are things that, like, I still deal with. I still have trouble with. I do take supplements that help with those symptoms, so that I don't have to deal with them as much. But I still do, and in those cases, like, I just don't drink. Like, it's just that simple. And sometimes it's like, this is really hard, this is really bad, and if it's still bad tomorrow, I'll drink tomorrow. Sometimes it has to be like that.
Like giving yourself an out.
Giving myself an out. Like, if it's still bad tomorrow, I'll drink tomorrow. And then the next day comes, and it's like, well, if it's still bad tomorrow, it's like taking it one day at a time. That's all I can do.
And not saying to yourself, oh my God, this is so hard, and I can't ever drink again, and...
Yep, and that is something I learned from someone early on in my sobriety, is like, don't go at it with, I can't drink over this. Just give yourself time and say, I'm going to go to bed, and if it still sucks tomorrow, then I'll drink then. And sometimes it's still like that for me. A lot of times, there's times where I've just gotten so used to not drinking that I just figure out other ways to deal with it. But it's good. It's really good. And I can't say that I'll never pick up alcohol again, but I don't intend to.
Yeah, I mean, you can say, today I haven't.
Today I haven't.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, definitely I have a lot of respect for you in that regard.
Thanks.
I had at least one person in my life I wish would have done that. You know, my dad, I wish he would have done that. Not Glenn. Glenn was a hard-working SOB, and I loved him. And he's literally my role model. If I could say who's your role model, it'd be two people up there. It'd be Ken and Glenn. Those would be my two role models for my life growing up. And but no, my dad, he didn't drink all the time either. You know, and the funny thing is, he loved being in the medical field. Of all the things in the medical field that you think you'd know about, is all that kind of stuff. He was an EMT, he was a pharmacist, like he was a nurse and an RN, he was a traveling nurse. Like, he did all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you know, when I knew him, at least, he loved tipping the bottle all the time, and it drove me crazy because he would get drunk and he'd get verbally abusive. He never got physically abusive. He never hit me, but he got verbally, just like, he'd just start running his mouth and calling names and pointing out all your flaws in your life. You know,
things that you don't forget.
Yeah, and you know, to a 10-year-old, you know, it's not like, you know, when Ken first met me at 13 years old, and you know, I had my dad at one point call me a fat ass, you know. And Ken pulled me aside and walked around the circle once, and he basically just said, you know, I have a concern about you because you're fat, and you I think that you do well if we could get you exercise and we can get you on a diet. And he didn't say it in such a way that I wanted to hit him. You know, he said it in a way of like, I'm concerned about you. My dad said it in a way of like,
trying
you
to
know,
hurt you.
What the hell are you? Because my dad was, at the same time being drunk, he was also Mr. Fitness and Guru. Like, he wouldn't let me put salt on French fries. He was like, nope, if you're going to have French fries, it's going to be saltless. And he had his own homemade recipes and stuff because he was all about blood pressure. He was all about cardio, you know. Ran like 7 miles a day. You know, like, got up every morning early and took off running. So, yeah. I wish he would have gone...
Sorry, I thought that was on silent.
Look at you! Silence the cell phone.
That was my dad.
Sorry, Mike.
Call you back later.
Also, this is really cool. So we talked about the sobriety. I wanted to hear about your art because I've seen your posts on Facebook. You have something in a competition of sorts, which I want to go there tomorrow.
Right.
If I've never heard of this place, first off.
Yeah.
So that's number one why I want to go there, is because everyone for the last, I'm just going to say this, for the last 3 years, I've had everyone tell me they're going to take me on a tour of this fucking city. And I have not gone on any freaking
well,
tour.
This weekend, you're going to get initiated with the ski to see. I'm going to take you to the parade and to see some leg of the race.
Okay, there's that.
So is that Sunday or Saturday?
The parade is on Saturday. The race is on Sunday.
Oh, okay. I'm going to stay home this weekend because I have mononucleosis and I need to rest. Abe is going to come visit me.
Yeah. God bless Christa. She's here. She's not feeling well, but she's doing the podcast anyway, so I love her for that.
Podcasting is just sitting in a chair.
I've really just had to, because I've been sick for over 2 weeks now, and I've really just had to suck it up and keep going. I had to take a day off in the middle of the week, but other than that, I've really just had to keep moving because life goes on, whether you're sick or not.
Keep it moving.
So, anyways, my art. I've loved making art ever since I could hold a pen.
Yep.
And
it looks like you love it.
I do. I grew up loving art, and I grew up making music, which is art, but that wasn't really my niche.
Yeah.
And I've learned that in recent months. I still like music, but it's not the same. I started watercoloring, maybe when I was 13 or 14, and would do it from time to time, and people would give me art supplies, and that was always super nice. But just recently, within the past couple of years, I started painting more when I lived in Spokane, and I started posting my pictures of my paintings on Facebook, and I actually sold one when I lived in Spokane to a very dear friend of mine, Bonnie, who it still hangs in her house, and she says that if I ever get famous, she can then brag that she has one of my originals, which is cool. I did some pencil drawing, but mostly I've done watercoloring, and then recently, I started posting more pictures of my stuff on Facebook, and people really actually liked it.
Yeah.
I had a really positive reaction.
I had a really positive reaction, and at first, I thought people were just patronizing me because they're all my friends, but then people wanted to buy it, and right. I'm like, okay, maybe my stuff is actually decent paintings, actually good stuff, and so I just happened to be on Craigslist, and I looked under the gigs section, just because for shits and giggles, really. There's a lot of really weird ads on there, for porn stars. Oh god. It's pretty awkward.
We're in a liberal wonderland, you should know that. It's
But I wasn't on there looking for porn opportunities, trust me. I
believe you.
I look through Craigslist for shits and giggles sometimes, and there was this
I'm just not convinced.
No, anyways, there was this ad for artists, and it was this coffee shop opening, and they wanted submissions
from local artists.
And I'm like, they wanted dragonflies. I'm like, I can paint a dragonfly. That's not a problem. And I I was eating lunch at work when I was looking at this, and started formulating in my head how I was going to do it. And so I just went home and I painted a dragonfly. And if I'd had more time, I probably could have made it better, but I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
And when you paint like that, do you sketch it on your canvas first, or did you just freehand it?
A lot of my paintings I freehand. Because a lot of my paintings are pretty...
Well, then kudos for that. That's amazing, because I couldn't do anything when I was a kid with sketching unless I outlined everything I wanted to first. A lot of my paintings that I have done recently are pretty abstract.
That green one that you did, that was really cool.
That was an oil painting, and I'll talk more about that. But I that particular painting, the dragonfly, I did outline the dragonfly because I was having trouble aligning the wings and making them look right, so I did do some measuring and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I've learned that for the most part, my art looks best if I just freehand and just paint what I see in my head. Mm-hmm. So,
before we move on, where is that painting located?
The dragonfly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's at Dory's Coffee Shop on State and Chestnut.
State and Chestnut, okay.
It's like across from the Shakedown and...
so State and Chestnut, Dory's Coffee Shop.
Yeah, it's like there's Woolies on the corner, and Dory's is like shares like a little like entrance with them. Okay. It's pretty easy to if you can find Woolies, you can find Dory's.
So listeners now know where they can go and see your work.
Yeah.
All right. So, I just wanted to get that plug in there for you before we move on.
Yeah. So there is a contest, and I'm not quite sure when it's starting. But if people want to go in and vote, they can. But I don't...
We'll have you on again. You can, when the contest starts, you can plug it.
I know that their grand opening is like June 9th, so...
Okay, so that's coming up.
Yeah. But how I feel about that stuff is like I want to promote my stuff, but at the same time, I really feel like I should tell people, when you see it, vote for what you think is the best, what you like.
Because you want it to be fair.
I want it to be fair. So
it definitely you want it to be fair. Like if someone does see something that they like, obviously above another.
Don't just vote for me because you like me. Like art is it's important. Art is more important to me than like my name, essentially. I'm
really sorry. I'm just gonna tell you in advance though that when I go, if I vote, I am like a teensy bit biased, because we're a teensy bit related.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just, distantly. And
you guys said that in unison. Wow.
But anyways.
There's a story behind that.
No, there's not. No. We just have this sister thing that we literally, this is going off topic, but literally a few months ago.
So are we scientifically proving right now that there's telekinetic power between the two of you?
No. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to say that there's definitely not, but I'm not saying that there's definitely not.
If anyone else is confused that's hearing this, I am too. So.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is she was getting her nails done at a salon. She was getting a manicure, and I went in, I wanted a pedicure at the same time. I didn't want a manicure. And they sat me like way the heck across the salon from her, where it would have been like really awkward for us to have a conversation. And so we literally sat there, like, kind of just hand motioning and mouthing to each other. And we made plans for the weekend. Like, detailed plans. Mm-hmm. Like, where we would go, who would go to whose house, like, what time. And, like, the fact that we didn't want to spend any money. And that both of us were broke. And so we should do something that didn't cost anything. And, we made all this without actually speaking. We just kind of mouthed words at each other and, like, hand motions.
David and I used to just grunt.
Well, that's because you're dudes.
It was like,
I feel like that's a bit of an exaggeration, is it not?
And then there's this, like, shut the fuck up. They'll come up every once in a while.
And then you'd be like, fuck you.
And that was usually towards me.
Yes.
No, anyways, I normally didn't say that unless I had a reason to.
But anyways, what I was saying is that when I go vote, is that yours will undoubtedly, to me, just be the most amazing thing.
Well, thanks. I'm going to go this weekend, or not this weekend, but next weekend, and enjoy the paintings.
You're resting this weekend.
I'm resting this weekend. Next weekend.
Well, I'm agreeing completely with that wholeheartedly that I am resting this weekend because I've been feeling ridiculous this last couple of days.
Well, hopefully Keith and I will go there this weekend, and we'll ask him when the voting is, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I talked to them at one point, and they said that it was going to be within a few days, which was like last week. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything on their Facebook page. I haven't heard anything. So, but I do know that their grand opening is June 9th. So.
Okay.
So is that a watercolor?
It is a watercolor.
Okay, and so then the one that you posted that looked kind of bluish greenish
Yes.
That one was an oil painting. I remember you said, does anyone know how long it takes oil paint to set?
To dry, yeah.
Did you talk to John?
I didn't. I talked to Katie. But, that was, so what happened was my dad bought me this pretty decent, art set from, I think, Costco or something. It came in this big wooden box. It's pretty nice. It had watercolors, and it had acrylics, and it had oil paints, and it also has colored pencils, which I very rarely use colored pencils, but I have them. And I just so happened to be at Michael's, the craft store, and I was getting, I don't know what I was getting. Sometimes I just go there to
have fun,
relax. And anyways, there was this clearance shelf, and they had this pack of canvas on there for like $3.99 because one of them was torn. And I'm like, heck, for $3.99, I mean, that's pretty cheap for stretched canvas. So I bought it because I knew I had oil paints and I could do something with it. And so one evening, a few weeks ago, I just decided to, it was like a month ago now, I sat down with one of the canvases, and I didn't really have the tools that I needed in order to do it right, but I did my best, and just kind of played around with it, and that's what you saw on Facebook. That was what came of it, and I actually sold that painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
You sold that painting?
I did sell it. Yeah.
Who bought it from you?
Your neighbor.
Oh, Wendy bought it from
Yeah.
you? Oh, sweet.
By the way, you look like you went to war with that canvas.
That was purely for the photo.
Okay.
Well, not entirely, because
it wouldn't surprise me if you did, because after looking at the painting, I was like, well, that wouldn't, I've seen like people like literally will like,
which I did use my fingers a little bit on that, and
you don't realize, and you just go like this.
I touch my face a lot, and like I brush my hair out of my face, or I like scratch my nose.
Surprised you don't have different colors in your hair now.
Right? I've always, ever since I was a child, get super messy when I do art. And but the picture on Facebook that I took, I was just being funny. I had paint on my face, but I put more on my face for the picture. So, I'm busted.
You busted yourself. But
yeah.
I would like to say, as an artist.
You as an artist?
You as an artist. I'm going to ask you a question about what I consider to be my art form.
Yeah.
I consider cooking to be my art form. Mm-hmm. And Keith thinks that it is ridiculous that I think that cooking is an art form.
I would have to disagree with Keith and agree with you.
Thank you. I think that it is an art form. Hold
no
on.
pun intended, but I want to paint a picture of what I'm looking at right now.
Hold on.
Okay.
So Keith looked at me accusingly when you said that you get messy when you paint.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just am sitting here in a very,
I told you so.
In I told you so position, and I slipped on some sunglasses.
Yeah, you literally did like the high roller celebrity move there when you put on sunglasses in an interview.
Okay, and this is why. Is because he is thinking of me when I am in the kitchen. And I make food that he likes. He likes my cooking, and right, Ben?
Yes, I love your cooking.
But I am...
And I said that as a joke, if you remember, about the whole art thing, because I knew it'd get a rise out of you.
Yeah, I'm going to hold it over you forever.
I knew you would, but I knew that's how you would take it.
But I am a tornado and a half.
Yeah, you're a frickin' Section 5 or whatever the Class 5 tornado walking through our kitchen.
But my end products are amazing, are they not? Usually. I mean, I've had a few duds. But I'm just saying.
She literally, like, high-rolled my ass because she just put on a pair of sunglasses and just sat back in her chair like, see? I told you.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
The whole, sunglasses that come down. Deal with it.
Are you all right over there? Like, you're Joaquin Phoenixing this shit right now.
I'm feeling good. What can I say?
Well, that's more than he said. Anyway.
These sunglasses don't work for me.
Oh, Lisa gave these to me. Well, I kind of stole them from her, but I told her I was stealing them from her.
Oh. I don't know what happened to my sunglasses like that. I had yellow ones, so they're lost.
All right. So
anyway.
So we're learning more, like, so from my last conversations with you, we've found out that Christa likes Star Trek. She likes Star Wars. She likes TV shows in general.
Mm-hmm.
She's gotten sober almost, we're going on 9 months. Actually, I counted them out on my hands and fingers.
Yeah, June 11th will be 9 months.
Yep.
So.
Her art, which I love that idea. I love the idea of art. I like poetry. That's the reason why I like rap music in particular, is because I like the availability of rhyming.
So you're saying that you have a less messy art form?
I write a lot of poetry.
Yeah. Less messy art form?
Yeah,
Me?
is that what you're saying? Is that your art form is less messy than mine?
You know what? Yes.
But
yes,
everything
but
about you is
not
less messy than me.
Not because I'm intentionally trying to annoy you, but more of just because mine is an app in my phone that I can use to write poetry. That I actually do specifically for you, if you remember the Facebook post that I've written in for you and for my mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my art form.
I write a lot of poetry. I write a lot of poetry when I'm feeling a lot of emotions.
Right.
And like really deep emotions, and sometimes I feel them and sometimes I don't. Like sometimes life just happens and it's cool and whatever, but but I keep them all on my phone.
Right. I like writing stories in I like doing more of a story.
Yeah.
When it comes to poetry, making it long form, or most of it, from what I understand and reading Rhymes Reason and other books on poetry, that what I do is what they call free verse.
Free verse. I actually have a poem right now that's in a free verse competition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the deadline is actually August, so it's going to be several months before I find out if I've won or if I haven't won.
Can you send the credentials on that for me? Because I would love to look at something like that.
Yeah, you do have to have a subscription to the site, but it's $9-10 a month.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would love to check that out because
yeah, I can definitely send that to you.
Because writing poetry, I like doing that, but
I wrote a free verse poem about my struggle with alcoholism.
Oh wow!
And I submitted it to this contest, and I've got some pretty positive feedback from just other poets on the site that have read it. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
because that's the other reason. That's the other thing. I would like to submit it to a contest where other poets can read it. Mm-hmm. Is I would like to hear a poet's criticism.
I post pretty much all of my poetry. Well, I shouldn't say pretty much all of it. I've posted selected poems on this site called allpoetry.com. And that's not a contest. That's just a way to publish your work and get it out there and get critiqued by other people. So that's a good, I like that.
What did you call it? Allpoetry.com?
Allpoetry.com. I don't remember what the site is that I entered the contest on. I think it's Fan Story or I don't remember what it's called, but it's not just a poetry site. It's you can write. Well,
allpoetry.com. That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, that's just posting your poems, getting them out there. I've gotten a lot of really great feedback from that. from other writers on that site. So,
which
I enjoy it.
for me, I assume I'm still at a beginner level. Like, to some people, when I was writing poems, I used to think that it was really intricate because they were long and they had a particular stance to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure if I posted it into a swarm of hundreds, if not thousands, of poets, and they read stuff, might have some good advice, for somebody, or just even a good critique of like, this could use more of this, or that could use more of that.
Yeah.
Just something to like up the game a little bit more for me.
For sure.
Because I haven't had a whole lot of people that, Katrina Franzak was the one who knew a lot about poetry when I was writing.
Yeah.
And that was the only person I really had to bounce stuff off of. And so I would like to hear more, more on that. But so you've dove into poetry a little bit. You both play guitar.
Yeah. I don't actively play guitar, but I can play the
Is
guitar.
that a bass that we got you for your birthday?
Yes,
or that some people got you for their birthday?
Yeah.
That blue one?
Yeah, and I
Okay.
have no idea how to play it, but eventually I'll
It's going to be fun learning.
Pretty.
But like I said, like
Yeah, it was pretty.
I was very honest about why I wanted that bass when I posted it on Facebook that I wanted the bass, and it was simply because I wanted to be able to tell people that I own a blue bass.
Good.
Yeah, my bass
No.
is blue, and
It looks awesome.
it's awesome.
Listen, it's. I mean, I have like 12 hats and I don't wear them all. I mean, there are things in life that you want, and it's not for the same purpose everybody else might want them. To have something like, I know people who've had instruments and they just drive a nail into the wall and they hang it.
Yeah.
And they don't ever never knew how to play it. It's just they like that thing, whatever. Like if I had a electric guitar that was signed by Stevie Ray Vaughan, that would be right there.
Yeah.
I would take all that shit down and I'd post that right there because Stevie Ray Vaughan's my favorite guitarist of all time.
Nice. Yeah. No. If you have an instrument that's signed by a renowned excuse me, renowned musician, yeah, you don't want to be playing that thing. That thing.
Or
is,
I would even say not even necessarily signed, but that it was one of his.
Yeah.
Because I knew he had a ton. Just like I heard that this is a guitar that Stevie Ray Vaughan played with on tour or he used in the studio, whatever. And we're selling it for $500. I would be working my ass off to get that $500.
Yeah.
Or what? And I know it would be more than $500.
I was gonna say the chances of it was like if
all I'm
there was
saying
one for
is I would,
$500
if I knew what the price was, I'd be fighting my ass off to get that money in pocket so I could purchase that because that is my favorite. And I wouldn't do that for any other guitarist.
Right.
Maybe Benjamin Bunley from Breaking Benjamin, but other than that, no. But
yeah, so I do play guitar. I mean I can.
you still trying to sell your mandolin?
No, my mandolin has been sold. I actually just took it to Guitar Center and they gave me some cash for it. So I was a little disappointed though because just a couple days after I canceled my eBay listing because I sold it at Guitar Center, I had someone message me on eBay and offer me like $250 more than what I sold it for. So I was a little disappointed, but at the same time, it is what it is. I was happy with what I sold it for.
You're holding on to that for a little while, so it makes sense.
The mandolin itself, it was very, it was given to me, and it was very kind of the person who gave it to me, but there was also a lot of bad memories that went along with it.
Right.
And I needed it gone. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still have stuff like that where they, I took down some things in my office here that it was like, yeah, that memory is not, and it's not even that so much, it's like, I have friends that if I had certain things up in my office, like, if you get upset about a Bible verse, I'm not even going to apologize to anyone for those. But if it's something that was made by our church and they have problems with it, then the only thing I have up on there is my my hat that we got. I have that up on the wall there because I got rid of everything and then I didn't have a bad time. That was one thing. And I got good feedback from you and a lot of people when I said that. Basically, some people believe that their whole entire childhood was ripped away from them and blah, blah. And I actually just came out and said, I didn't have a bad childhood, maybe a little controlled, but quite frankly, I actually wanted to be where we were, for the most part. I made decisions. People can say, oh, your parents kept you in homeschool. Well, if anyone had spent the 9 years in public school that I had spent in public school, they would have begged for the homeschool plate.
Yeah.
Because I did. I begged for that.
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, actually, yes, yesterday, someone asked me if when I was, being homeschooled, if I wished I was in public school, and I was like, honestly, that was just the way it was.
Right.
Like, I knew that if I went to public school, I wouldn't fit in and I wouldn't be accepted, so why would I want to go?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, like, as far as my childhood, like, I don't feel like my entire childhood was ripped away from me. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I had a lovely childhood. I had so many animals. I had 3 dogs. Which I loved dogs. I had a swing set in my front yard. I had acres and acres of woods to play in. I had a bike. I had, like, all sorts of activities I could do. I mean, my childhood was freaking paradise in a lot of ways.
Especially for a child that loved animals so much, to have that free access to that sort of stuff.
I had a zoo really in my backyard. Like, it was amazing. So, I mean, there were very good aspects to it. Mm-hmm. There's
goats, sheep, chickens, cows. Like, we had the full gamut of of all sorts of.
So in that sense, like,
dogs, cats.
Like, I somehow personally acquired 3 dogs when I was 15 years old. Or 14, actually. And these 3 dogs, I had wanted a dog my entire life.
Oh, so you had 3.
And all of a sudden I had 3. 2 of them were extremely high maintenance, and I loved every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best thing that could have happened to me. So, I mean, there are certain aspects of my childhood that I wish didn't exist, but there was so much good, too, that I just whatever,
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta get rid of, like, I got a box of stuff that I'm getting rid of. Well, some of it is because I just didn't like it anyway to begin with. Like, I got a jacket that was given to me.
Yeah.
And as much as I'm really happy that they got me the jacket, there were 8 of us that got jackets at the time of this young men's group that I was a part of. And because of my size, everyone got a particular type of jacket, and I had to get something different than everyone else. And I never liked that jacket. I just never really, and I didn't know I couldn't really say it either because they're trying to get it for me as a gift. But I'm done with browns.
Yeah.
Like, for the rest of my existence, I'm just done with browns and nature colors.
I just got rid of my jacket.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's still in a giveaway bag in the garage, but yeah, I just got rid of it. It was hard for me because I kind of liked that jacket, actually. But you have to move. There's the point where you have to move on.
And the t-shirts, like, do you remember the sheepskin vests that we got? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting rid of that because I hated that thing too. Like, everyone, like, a lot of people liked those things and thought they were the greatest thing since sliced. I hated anything with fur.
Yeah. And
not because I'm a freaking animal activist, but just because, what in the hell? I don't get it. Like, I'm not that. I'm blue jeans and a jacket.
Yeah.
With a t-shirt and tennis shoes. Mm-hmm. That is me to a T. Like, wearing a ball cap, wearing a jacket with a t-shirt, blue jeans, tennis shoes. I'm not a Rocky boot, Carhartt wearing, a hoodie maybe for a sweatshirt,
yeah.
But I realized, like, I did that because of I was with certain people, and that was how I wanted to be. When I came out here, and I started actually looking into what is Keith? What does Keith do? Well, Keith really likes blue jeans, mm-hmm. and I had some really good role models, and it was great because working on a farm, I needed the Carhartt pants and I needed the work boots and shit. But I work in buildings now where carpet's on the floor.
I had that too when I moved on with my life. It took me a long time to get to know myself, and who is Christa outside of what everybody's told Christa that she is? Does Christa even like art, or is this something that was just pushed on her?
Exactly.
Does she even, does she even like to cook, or does she even like all of these things that were like, you should do this because you're so good at it? That I had to determine for myself if I actually really enjoyed, or if I just submitted myself to because someone told me I was good at it. And I've really started to learn like where my niche is, what I truly love, and what I'm just good at.
Right.
And or the things I like to wear. Like, I found out a couple years ago that I really like skulls. I don't know why. I just do. Mm-hmm. And cool for me.
Right.
So, it's
the best part is that, you're not going to get judged for it, and that's the one thing. Like, I found out that I like wearing hats. I like wearing certain types of gear,
I discovered that I liked skulls, and I discovered I like Pink Floyd, and that I like having blonde hair, and and I like to have...
Looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. And I like to have multiple piercings in my ears and tattoos. Like, all of this stuff, it's not...
I might get my ear pierced.
Yeah?
Grace said she wouldn't mind it, and I almost actually pulled the actual trigger when I was in Pennsylvania. David and I...
Just one, or...
Oh, just one ear.
Just
one ear. I was thinking about just having a green stud. Is what I was thinking of doing. Is just having a green stud. And I almost did it, and I didn't do it, and I don't know why I didn't. I can't remember why I didn't do it. Maybe it's because I actually didn't have the money at the time or something. But the fact was I really did want to do it. I did, and I'll just say this. I also wanted to try and dye my hair red when I was out there too, because David dyed his blonde.
Oh.
When he was out there, no one really knows no one's seen it or really knows about it. But David Johnson, he's not only dyed his hair blonde, but he has dyed his hair black in his past. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I thought I'd do something different than David. I go red, and as soon as I said red to people, they just went, "What the hell?" And not that I'm trying to necessarily. Well, I mean that I did pretty much appease them, but I thought about it. I put myself in front of a mirror.
Yeah. And
I looked at it and I went, "What would that look like with red hair?" And I just went, "Dude, you don't have the body nor the hair to really put up with that kind of shit." So
so anyways, I got to know myself, and I discovered that I'm a little wacky and I'm a little odd.
We all are.
A little
wacky.
And I'm
in different ways.
I have quirks and different things, and it's been fun getting to just know myself and just being able to be myself and not have to worry about someone else not liking what I do.
Right.
Because I'm not hurting anyone.
No. And
as long as I'm not hurting anyone, no one should really care.
Exactly.
And so that's where I'm at. And if somebody does care, that's their problem. It's not mine.
I mean, if anybody can hate what you do with your hair, but if you like it, that's really all that matters.
If I'm happy with my life,
and if you hate it, then you can go change it.
If I'm happy, I've come to when I left the church that we were a part of, I determined I was never ever again gonna let anyone tell me how to live my life. It was my terms, and I have stuck to my guns on that one. And I will continue to stick to my guns on that one. I will not bend over for anyone. It's extremely important to me to live life on my terms and just be happy. And if someone doesn't like what I'm doing, I can't help it. I can't help them. I can't help. And I'm not going to defend what I'm doing to them. I'm just going to
live your life.
Live my life.
Live your life. As Bon Jovi said, it's my life.
Yep.
It's now or never.
Exactly. One of the few Bon Jovi songs.
You're not going to live forever.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, all right. In closing, you looking forward to Star Trek Discovery?
I am. It seems like it's going to be a little different.
Not so much exploration as it is action.
I could actually say a lot about Star Trek Discovery. But I won't. What I will say is that, if we're being honest, the Star Trek universe is not. It's a mess. Okay, it's a fucking mess. And
from a fan standpoint, or just the point of that's what it is?
From a very objective standpoint, honestly. I mean, you've got, like, for instance, the Klingons have been redesigned, I think, 4 times. 3 or 4 times. So there's that, and there's just a lot of inconsistency within the different series. And I am one of those people who wishes that they would have used the new timeline.
With the movies?
With the movies for the TV show, and not gone back to the canon, original canon. But I have high hopes for it. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be different, but it's going to be, I mean, it's Star Trek, and it's classic, so I'm excited to see what they do with it.
A lot of people have actually, I've heard some speculation that one of the reasons why Star Trek is the new movies got a lot of, was because it's a lot more action than they were from the original films. Like, the original films were more that exploration kind of way, They were talking about the action, and a lot of people thought it was J.J. Abrams who was the one who was behind that part of it. Is that a fair assessment of it, or is that?
I would tend to agree with that. The thing that I've noticed is that people who are, like, diehard Star Trek fans, who are fans of the original series and the Next Generation, those that don't have as much action, especially the original series. If you think about the original series, there's not a ton of action, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they just didn't have the technology to make it work. And that's my opinion. A lot of people didn't like the new series or the new movies because there was so much action and there wasn't as much exploration. Or, like, problem solving, essentially. Mm-hmm. It was just a lot of running and fighting, especially the latest one. So there was a lot of people who are, like, diehard Star Trek fans that didn't like the new series because of that. But what I've tried to help people see, and what I understand as someone who likes the old Star Treks, but is a millennial at the same time, action is what appeals to people these days. Action and drama and suspense. That's what's drawing people into the theaters, if you think about the movies that have been made in recent years. And so to make something that's going to mirror closer to those older series, it would draw in the older crowd, but it wouldn't appeal to younger people. And so it would be boring to them, probably.
And the younger crowd is what's going to make the franchise have longevity.
Exactly. Exactly. So
you got to change with the times. It's really
that's very true. And so I personally, I think I said this on the last podcast, I appreciate what J.J. Abrams and that team did with the new Star Trek. I really love the idea of the alternate timeline. I think that's really the only way they could have gone with it.
Yep. Which
I think is just brilliant and wonderful. And they did just a beautiful job writing that story, and I really would like to see a lot more come out of that as far as TV series and whatnot, because I think that if they used that as a jumping off point, that there could be a lot more consistency in future shows. But they're doing what they're doing, and my opinion really doesn't matter. So
Are there any TV shows that you've been on Or you've been...
Um,
because last time we talked, which was a couple months ago,
Yeah.
you hadn't really watched a whole lot new. Is there anything that you have started?
So
You post something about Friends and Netflix denying your friend... Yeah, or asking, are you still watching Friends?
I do. I watch Friends when I'm bored. Like, when I'm just kind of like...
Is it that good of a show?
Oh, it's a lovely
Yeah,
show. It's a beautiful show. I love that show.
Okay.
Friends is probably my favorite thing.
I know I'm going to get flack for this.
Yeah.
Because I've only watched, like, select episodes of Friends. I have not watched a whole season from start to finish.
So, yeah, I've been watching... I just recently finished this second season of Gotham.
Okay.
I've been watching that with a certain other person. And that's been really good. And probably we'll start season 3. We'll try to get it on... We're trying to figure out how to watch it, but we might just wait till it comes out on Netflix. But Gotham is a good show. Other than that, I mean, all of it's like it's like the season finale season right now.
Right.
So a lot of shows that I watch have ended. I've been watching Smallville. I just finished season 8 of Smallville.
Got 2 more seasons to go.
I have 2 more seasons to go. So I'm going to try to finish that, but I did something that was extremely crazy for me because I am such a TV fiend. TV shows, they're kind of my thing. That's kind of what I devote my spare time to when I have it, outside of, like, reading. I canceled all of my TV subscriptions, and so they're running out at the end of the month, so that's going to be super weird. So we'll see how long that lasts, but I'm trying to save some money, so
right.
We'll see.
I did the same thing a while ago.
Yeah.
I had to cancel all of them because it was just like, I realized we were spending like $80 a month in subscription things to all sorts of different areas. So
I kept my YouTube Red because that's really important to me.
Is that where you get your music?
Yeah, for the most part. I do get it off Google Play, but there's a lot of times it'll just turn on YouTube Red and it'll just autoplay. And sometimes it'll play like the same song, like 5 different versions in a row. But whatever, it's music, so
right.
Yeah.
I buy all my music on Amazon Music.
Mm-hmm. I download it from Google Play. Like, my phone just lets me download music from Google Play, so
right.
I have playlists on there, and
sorry,
very wide range of musical taste that I have.
I'm pretty set on my couple of genres of music, but I mean, I like a lot of stuff. It's just what I tend to listen to the most is rap and metal music. That's all I really subscribe to for the most part. Other than that, I don't really, because the reason why I end up buying the most of that is because I'll actually listen to that when I work or I work out or whatever. When I won't ever listen to classical when I work or work out. I'd have to be in a mood for something like that. I like classical, but I'd have to be in a mood for it. In country, I'll never like country. So no one's doing that.
I could probably count on one hand the number of country songs I actually like, and it's because
That's how many I have.
4?
4 that I bought back in 2011, and I listened to within the last 2 years because I was showing her what songs I have. Other than that, I have not listened to them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm more of a rock person myself. I can't stand modern day pop. Drives me fucking insane. But rock, alt rock, from like, well, even recent, but like older stuff too, I like, and I have all sorts of different genres on my favorites playlist.
Yep.
I have I have Imagine Dragons, which is my favorite band, which I'm going to see in October, and I'm super excited. So I have them. I have American Authors, which is another great, contemporary band. I have older stuff. I have Black Sabbath, Jethro Tull.
Really?
Yeah.
Way to go
Neil
on the Black
Diamond.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
See, also heard you like Pink Floyd.
I
Is what
love
you said.
Pink Floyd. I, I don't have any of them on my playlist on my phone, but I do have a ton of their albums in my car. So I listen to them.
You
a
go to
lot.
the Everyday Music here in town?
No.
You go to Best Buy?
I go to my person who rips CDs for me.
No, that's fine. A lot of people do. A lot of people do that. It's fine.
I shouldn't have admitted that. I shouldn't have recorded that.
No, don't worry. It's not up on air yet.
No, I get music from other sources. I would like to go to Everyday Music. They have records there.
They have records. They have tape cassettes. I think they got 8 tracks. They got CDs.
Yeah.
Like, I went there and bought, because I have one band, Tool is their name.
Yeah.
And I went looking for them on Amazon. And one of the reasons why I went looking, why I buy music in MP3 form and download it, is because I used to own 250 solid albums. And then I was able to sell them. Well, you cannot return MP3s, and they always are on a cloud somewhere. So even if you change phones, they're out there. You can never get rid of them. And even though a vinyl LP or even a CD would sound better overall than an MP3 and a couple of earbuds, I would rather have the music available to me anywhere and everywhere on any device that I could put it on than not having it at all. But Tool went looking for them sons of bitches, and well, they decided MP3 is not the way they want to produce music.
Oh.
They want you to buy a cassette, a CD, or a vinyl. Now, I just heard news within the last month that they're actually in works to make a deal to go MP3. But when I heard one particular song by them, I wanted to buy that. I wanted to buy the song. Couldn't find the song.
Oh.
So that day, I went down to Everyday Music, found the album, purchased it for $14 at there. It's behind Grace on the shelf. But I found out Tool won't do it. And there's actually a couple of metal bands, rock bands, that didn't subscribe to the whole MP3 thing. They felt that their music should be heard and music should be listened to, not digitally.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, even though you can rip a CD and make it digital, I mean, I used to do that all the time. When I got my albums, I would rip it and put it on my device so I'd have it for my iPod. But I remember one time buying like 13 albums for a total of $8.
Nice.
Because they were all bands that no one ever gave a shit about, and they were all old CDs, and I bought them all for like 50 cents to $1.50 a piece.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I don't buy them like that because I don't ever want to have to sell my shit again. So
yeah.
I just went like that. So, is there anything you guys want to get off your chest or talk about before?
I'm good.
We've been on for over an hour and a half. So
I'm good. I'm.
You're tired?
No. I'm not tired. I'm just out of things to talk about.
Right. All right, that was our conversation. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on www.soundcloud.com/rantpanda, at Twitter at rantpandapod, and on Facebook, the Rant Panda Podcast. And I will catch you all down the road.